You are now listening to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
My name is DJ Vince Adams. I absolutely appreciate what the Chicago Clubhouse crew is doing for the city of Chicago.
Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Varian, a.k.a. B Twice.
What up? This is Rasheed Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver.
Hey, my name is Lemuel Stinson, a.k.a. Lemonade, formerly of the Chicago Bears.
What's up? My name is C.J. Watson, former Bulls guard and bench farm creator.
This is two-time six-man all-star baller Ricky Deuces Pierce.
What's up, people? This is Chicago radio legend Rick Party, the voice you hear everywhere.
My name is Pee-wee from the movie House Party.
This is Megan Martinez from the Good and Funny podcast.
Hey, this is Bubba Ball from the Shits podcast.
Hey, this is Mika from One Shot Wellness, repping from the ATL, dropping some drips on that Chi-Town Clubhouse podcast.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You're now rocking with Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
Where they think they know everything.
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 But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit. But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But honestly, they don't know shit.
And I smell something. I smell something. I smell podcast. The Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Show.
They really don't know shit.
You already know what time it is.
You see this Eddie Jackson jersey right here? Take this.
This dude literally just took my soul.
So I didn't like playing with Brett Favre at all.
You could have waited until the draft if you wanted to look at another quarterback. You didn't have to sign Andy Dalton, who is really nothing but a backup.
Evander Holyfield is 58 years old. What you want to fight a 58-year-old man?
But man, he wants to keep fighting.
Because he want to fight him.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an exhibition.
But yeah, it's an exhibition because
this ain't Drago and Apollo Creed, man. Ain't nobody about to.
Man, Martin and Tommy Hearns was an exhibition. You saw what happened to Martin.
This could hurt.
Thanks, Hayden. Nothing but the best.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, bro, tough for real, man.
Yeah, man. He like tougher than some grown folks I know, man.
For that, as a coach, your job is to give your players the best opportunity to have success.
Michael Jordan, when he came back at LeBron James' age, he was a straight up nothing.
That is blasphemy on his computer right now.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. Without Dennis Rodman, I couldn't see them winning like they did those second three championships. I can't see it.
I agree.
And now I'm the voice of SportsCenter on ESPN. Now on SportsCenter. Tonight, LeBron James. And whatever.
Do you guys really coach how exactly to tackle correctly? Because I see it all over the league now. People cannot tackle like they did whenever you guys played. But do you guys practice tackling at all?
Hello and good morning, everybody. Where's Terrence? Where'd Terrence go? Terrence, where are you? We miss you, buddy. Everybody, welcome in today, Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. We have a great show lined up for you today. JB, how are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing well. It's Saturday morning. I'm up. I'm perky. I'm ready to go. I'm bright. Man, let's get it.
It's not a Dragon Saturday, guys. It is time to get moving. We have a great show lined up today. We have former Chicago Bear Lance Briggs on with us. JB, what do you think about this interview? Are you as pumped as I am?
Beyond, man, like one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, let's dive in, man. I can't even wait.
Absolutely. We're going to bring in our buddy and all-star team member, our buddy Cal's jumping in real quick with us. Hey, Cal, how are you today?
Gentlemen. Hey, Alan, don't blink today on your K's. Don't blink on anybody else today. We got all the fellas going today.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'm telling you right now, St. Rita may score 100, and Loyola may not let a point on the board today.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Major upset last night already in the UA family. The Cyclones down south, around your way, Alan.
Yeah.
Putting it on Rochester. So the UA family is going to be well represented today, man.
I love it.
And I got all the guys in the field working for us. The fellas from Loyola Barstool. Who are they? I can't tell you. The world may never know, but they're in the trenches. The ultra-talented Trent Nixon, St. Rita, he's in the trenches. I'm going to check in with them when you all are rapping with Lance.
All right.
Cool. Man, sounds good, Cal.
All right, Cal. Thank you. We will talk to you in a little bit. Thanks. And now the man of the hour, guys. You've all been waiting. Our buddy, Mr. Lance Briggs. How are you, Lance?
Good. What's up,
you, man? It's good to see you.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
We're a little off script today because we don't have our leader here, so we're just going off the hip, man. That's what we do here. So
next man up.
Yep,
next man up, for sure.
Next man up. So Lance, how are you? What's going on with you lately, man?
I'm good, man. I know I say I have the sweater on, but it's really not that bad out here in Arizona. Guys, with you, I woke up. It was 49 degrees this morning, and every minute that the degree goes up, it goes up and it goes up, man. But I was up early watching soccer, and I'm on my way to hockey after this interview. It's a beautiful day and it's a beautiful life, man. I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah, you don't. We're over here freezing our asses off in Chicago. Right. Get back here and freeze with us, man.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be freezing with you. I'll be freezing with you by tomorrow.
Look, I'm about to say, you know all too well, temperature goes down every minute.
Every week, yeah. You're damn right. It goes down, not up every minute.
Right.
So let's dive into it, man. Starting from, early in your career, I had some questions for you specifically, but I'll let JB go first.
So I just wanted to go before we get into the meat and potatoes of what's going on now, because I know you're doing that ad nauseum. For us and the fans out here that support us, we want to know Lance Briggs. I had a guy come and tell me, man, he went to high school in Elk Grove. I said, California, not Elk Grove Village, man. He's not from here. He's from the sunny skies.
Huge difference.
Massive
huge difference.
So the first question we had, man, was coming out of high school. We know you were touted, man. What made you pick Arizona? What's up with the Pac-10? That was a bold move.
Good question. Yeah, you know what? I'm on the back end of my high school career, because I've always been a two-way starter. I've always run the ball, been a running back and a linebacker. So I even left college. I left high school as a big athlete, to college. I could have gone and played either side. But I knew I wanted to play defense. And on the West Coast, Arizona was a team that's always been known for defense.
Correct.
My sister had played volleyball there before me. And while she was there, the birth of the Desert Swarm was happening. Teddy Bruschi and Rob Waldrop and Tony Bowie and all these players were coming out, and they had this defense that was scoring more points than their offense. And as a kid, I'm like, whoa, if I want to play defense, and not leave, the West Coast, this is where I want to be. It's just, I kind of likened it to, if you're a good basketball player and you have all these good East Coast teams, when you look west, you start thinking Arizona. Arizona's one of the teams on the west. You say, okay, well, if I don't want to go all the way to the East Coast and I'm going to stay on the west, then I'm gonna go play for Arizona. So for me, it was if I want to play good defense, who plays good defense in the NCAA? And at the time, Arizona was a top 5 defense.
Yes.
And even when I came out of high school, they were still a top 10 defense. So I was like, if I'm going to play, this is where I want to play. It feels like a natural fit for me.
You want to play with some dogs? Heck yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You always got to play with some dogs, man.
Come on. We got to eat.
You got to eat.
Yes.
You're right. So, in your entire playing career, who was your favorite coach? The guy that really built you up to make you who you are. No?
Don't do that to me.
No?
Listen, I played with a lot of great coaches. I played with a lot of great coaches. To single one out for me would be doing a bit of a disservice to some of the others. Go Go ahead.
What about who were your main coaches that impacted you the right way? How about that? You can name more than
all right.
one.
Yeah, okay. I can have more than one, right? I can have more than one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it easy.
As a youth player, and then really kind of through high school, a man by the name of Wayne Dinwiddie. He was he had kind of grabbed me when I was about 8 years old, and said basically, you're going to play for me. You're going to play for me next year. And when you play for me, he was like, we're not doing the old reverse, triple reverse, double reverse stuff. No, we're going to run a pro style offense. Yeah. He was like, you okay with that? And I was like, I'm fine with it. And so, as far as learning football and how to play the game, the game the way it's supposed to be played, he was one of the first coaches to really teach me that. And I ended up playing with I played with his son, who was our quarterback all the way up until we graduated, and he went on and played at Boise State. Now he's the head coach of the Toronto Argonauts.
Oh, okay. Wow, nice.
Right, which is pretty awesome, right? And the collegiate level, hard to not speak of Dick Tomey. Rest in peace to him. But it was really him and his style that brought me to the University of Arizona. He was the one coach of all the coaches that I sat in front of that wouldn't promise me that I'd play my freshman year. And there was a lot of respect there. He said, listen, I won't promise that you'll play your freshman year. He's like, but what I will give you my word. I'll give you my word that I'll give you an opportunity. He said, we do seniority here. And in seniority, he was like, the guys that have been here the longest, they get the first crack at it. Okay. The guys that have proven themselves have been the first crack at it. He's like, but I'll tell you this. It's like, I'll give you an opportunity to compete. And if you outplay them, then I will put you out there. And I couldn't, you can't really ask for any more. That's all I need is opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that shows you that, also down the road, he's going to have your back. He's always going to give you the first crack at stuff, man. And that's big for a player growing up. Absolutely.
That's huge.
Not having to worry about looking over your shoulder every day, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I was one of those guys too that was, I'd go on a recruiting trip. I went to Nebraska, I went to SC and Arizona. I really kind of narrowed it down. I didn't want to do any more than that. Yeah. And I'd have coaches that say, hey, we're gonna get you out on that field, man. Hey, we're gonna, Washington, UW recruited me, and they wanted me to play fullback. So I'm like, well, and that was one of the first schools that I was like, I really want to go to UW. So they said, hey, we want to get you out here, but we really like you to play fullback here. And I was like, well, I want to play linebacker. And they're like, yeah, we'll get you. Yeah, we'll let you play linebacker. And it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not buying that, man. You'll get me out there selling me a linebacker, but you're gonna try to make me a fullback there for 4 years.
Yeah.
You got to weed through it. You got to kind of weed through it and figure out, who's being honest with you, who's being truthful. And of all the coaches that I ran into, I felt like this was the most authentic answer a head coach can give you. Because at the end of the day, you're going to listen. I'm going to run through a brick wall for you, but I need to know why I'm going to do that for you, because I'm going to keep doing it, and so you better have good reason for me to do this.
Absolutely.
And then, okay, so let's take it to the NFL level. The NFL level.
There you go.
At the NFL level, there's a couple guys that come to mind. More than a couple guys.
Now wait, before you get into it, because we know your start and your peak, but along the way, we had a lot of different D coordinators.
We know your career, basically, is what I'm saying.
Like, it seemed like every 2 to 3 years you had a new guy. So I'm just gonna say these names because I don't want to make it seem like you are saying it. I want to put you in the greatest light.
Right, absolutely.
Great blocks.
And each one really deserves a little notification,
Yes.
Absolutely.
And even the first one was under Dick Geron, my linebacker coach, Gary Moeller. You guys got to understand, like even though I come from California, man, I come from Sacramento's not a big city. You know what I mean? It's the capital city, but it's not a big city, and it sits right in between. It sits right in between Lake Tahoe and the Bay Area. You know, it's the valley right in between. And I went from Sacramento to Tucson, Arizona, which is even smaller than Sacramento. You know, and the one thing that I wanted when I was getting drafted was like, just get me to a big city. I want to experience a big city. So, of course, I got my wish. I came to Chicago.
Damn right.
You know, and so when I got to Chicago, we didn't the freshman class, and we had a big freshman. We had like 14 players in our freshman class. We didn't really see downtown until, you know, nearing the first game. And when I saw downtown, I'm telling you, my eyes lit up. Boy, I was like, oh my good Lord, what have they brought me to?
Love it.
You know, and at the time I was competing, you know, for a starting job. It was between me and Brian Knight at Sam. And I remember, I'm telling you right now, me and my crew, we went out almost every day that week. And this was after preseason. So I had made the team. I got out of that ugly 91 jersey. I got 55 slapped on me. And our coaches, I was literally competing, you know, and at that point I thought I had outplayed my competitor, but our coach said, nope, week one, Lance, you're still the backup. So after that first week, Gary Moeller, who was my linebacker coach, he was ex-head Michigan coach too. He walks him, he grabs me in the hallway. He was like, Lance, I don't know if you're an F up or you're just a knucklehead. He was like, but they spoiled you at Arizona. He was like, you need to understand something. It's like this isn't just a game. Like this isn't school. You like, this is your career. He was like, and in your career, you have to understand that this is how you're going to feed your family for the rest of your life. This is how you're going to pave the way for your family.
Yeah.
He was like, he's like, you have to start understanding, like, you have to take this seriously. Yeah. And I remember going home after that speech, after him scolding me, really. It wasn't a speech, he just scolded me. And I told, it was my brother and one of my boys at the time. I was like, listen, guys, I have to change what I'm doing. I was like, because I'm too close to being on the starting team, and I'm effing up because I'm out here trying to party with you guys all the time. So I was like, we can't party. We have to specify which days. Yeah. All right. And so they were like, all right, cool. So I would make it to the offices early, or get there when I needed to be there, and started taking care of business. And so by the fourth game, I got my first start against the Oakland Raiders. You know, ironic, it was against the Oakland Raiders at home, and started ever since. You know, it started ever since. So it was, you know, the impact that he had of those words. Now, me and Gary, we didn't speak after that year, but those words sunk in. You know, I was like, okay, you have to take care of business.
Okay.
Yeah. So outside of him, then you have Lovie Smith comes in. Bob Babbage, my linebacker coach.
Right, because he became your D coordinator, right?
Correct, but Ron Rivera before him. Right. You know, and Ron Rivera was huge. Rod Marinelli. You know, these were guys that and you know what, and I'm doing other coaches a disservice by not mentioning them, but there were a lot more other coaches, you know. But these guys in particular were really hands-on. You know, they're like I interacted with them the most. Lovey was just a fair guy, and you know, there were situations where he could really relate to me really well, and I could relate to him. And he's one of the few coaches in my life that I've ever cried in front of. Yeah. You know, and that says a lot. Bob Babbage, me and him, he just from a detail standpoint and the habits that he instilled are habits that are long lasting. They're habits that make you great, and they take you from being they allow you, if you can instill these habits, which are annoying, There are things you have to do every day. You have to call out plays. You have to call out formations. You have to call out down and distances. You have to call out the tendencies in those down and distances and what to expect when you see formations. You see certain guys in certain positions, and then you have to have your knees have to be bent. You have to call out the runs. You have to call out the passes every play. This is something that he made us do every play. You know, we would have to, even when we were walking through our walkthrough, we had to fit up the right way. Everything had to be done the right way. And he was a by the book kind of guy. And I wasn't a by the book kind of player. So when you take you take that oil and that water, they butt heads for a long time before they learn how to work together. You know, so, you know, for him, his deal was, he's like, because I'd go to practice every day. I'm telling you, if you ask any teammate, I go to practice every day. I smiled and I laughed. You know, I smiled and I laughed, you know, because I really loved the sport of football. So he took that as I wasn't taking the sport serious. And his deal, I remember it was always like, he'd get me on a Wednesday, you know, like a Wednesday morning, you know, we're starting the new week, and he just he'd shake his head. He's like, Lance, he's like, you know, I just don't know if you care enough for this sport. You know, he's like, but when Sunday comes around, you play. He's like, you play.
Damn
he's
right.
Like, yeah. So he's like, I guess I'm just going to have to reevaluate how I feel about this game or how I feel about you. And when he told me that, that's when I knew we were starting to understand each other. Wow. You know, and he was like, you know what, Boogie, do you, Boogie? I know you know what you're supposed to do. I know you know what you're supposed to do and that kind of stuff. We'd have tests, and all the linebackers would score high on the test, except for me. You know, I'd have really messed up grades on the test. And in the beginning, he would be pissed. He was like, man, do you know what you're doing? You know? I'm like, Coach, I'm where I'm supposed to be every day in practice. How are you going to let this paper tell you that I don't know what I'm doing?
Right.
And so as we went along, he'd put less value in the test for me than he would everybody else. He would look at it. He was like, before he looked at it, he was like, I know you didn't score high on it, but you know, I'm gonna look at this thing anyway. And he'll look, he was like, wait, rookie. He said, you did good, you know, surprise.
There's no pen and paper on the
good relationship. And
oh yeah.
So that's what kind of garnered it, kind of put it together.
Yes, yeah, and he kind of got to the deal where I think it helped him even moving forward, understanding that every player doesn't learn the same way. Every player has to be treated a little bit differently, you know. And where you may have a Hunter Hillemeyer on our team who may score really high on this test. You have a Lance who's going to score really low on this test, but you put both of them out in the field, and they're both going to be exactly where they're supposed to be on every play. You know what I mean? And so I remember when Gary Moeller was our coach, he would give us tests, and I'd be so nervous. I'm like, oh, I know if I get like one answer wrong, I'm not getting out there. I'm not going to get a chance to compete today, you know. And then when it was Bob, I felt the same way. But I'm like, the last 5 days in a row, you've been patting me on my butt for being everywhere I'm supposed to be on the field. You're like, Lance, you were playing great, and then this test comes up, and I don't score good on tests. Now, keep in mind, the test, like, let's say if I'm supposed to be the technical word is quick to the A, I put to the A. So it's like, it's quick to the A, you know? So it was one of those deals where I would miss out on those, you know. I was like, Coach, you know, I know it's supposed to be quick to the A, you know? And so it was one of those little micromanaged words that I'm supposed to put it on there, but I didn't put it, but I do know what I'm supposed to do.
Gotcha.
Right. Clearly you knew what you were supposed to do. And we loved it.
Just like I said, there is no pad and paper on the 50-yard line, Lance.
No.
On that field, it's a different animal. We were talking
in the trenches, man. You got to be ready to turn it on, man. You got to be ready to turn it on. And there's things mentally that you have to get yourself prepared for. At least, I can speak for every football player, you know, that has ever played the game. You have to get yourself mentally prepared for what you have to do. Yeah. And if you don't, you're going to get yourself blown out the saloon.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Damn right.
And that was like telling what you just said too, especially like the difference you mentioned Hunter Hillemeyer, and man, you guys had a bunch. You guys were like linebacker you, man, from you, Black, Warwick, Rosie, Nick Rhodes. Slightly before that, Barry Minter, when everybody was young. Like you guys, so was that just like the coach's philosophy? Like no matter what, we're gonna have like the best linebacking core, period. Like was that something that was preached constantly?
No, you know what? It was. I mean, we had a motto which was called we called it BIDDLE, which was meant best in the league. You know, and we did take a lot of pride in that. I'll tell you that we took a lot of pride in it. We would always break ourselves as BIDDLE, you know, because we felt like that should be the goal. That should be the goal every time you step out on this field, step out on this practice field, this football field, regardless, no matter what it is, you should try to be the best at whoever you are or who you're trying to be. But I think that also comes from within. I think, you know, when you look at Brian, you look at Hunter, Nick Roach, you look at Pisa Tiniwa Samoa, any of those guys that stepped out on that field, that I knew I was on the field with, I knew that they were trying to be the best them they could possibly be. We were fighting, you know, we were always fighting. Now I take a lot of pride in knowing that any linebacker that came through the Bears while I was there, especially as a veteran, knows that I've tried to do everything I could to help you be the best linebacker or understand our system the best I could. You know, I wouldn't. There was never going to be anything ill or malicious because I know we're both competing for the same job.
Yeah.
So I believe in the best man should always win, and you should have everything available to you to be the best player possible, because you got to feed your family. I got to feed mine too.
Absolutely.
It's funny that you say that, because you had a birthday the other day. November birthdays, by the way, are the best. Obviously,
No doubt.
I'm on the 25th. I'm a turkey baby.
Congrats.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Our boy
You're
Terrence.
your Thanksgiving baby.
Yep, I'm born November 25th, man. Every 7 years, I get to eat good on my birthday. I love it, man. But we had a special birthday gift for you, and I wanted to bring him in right now. My buddy, Mr. Warwick Coleman, he wanted to come in and say hi.
Hey, Warwick!
You were just talking about great linebackers, so I'm like, why don't I bring in my buddy Warwick?
Whoa.
What's up, Lance?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Just getting old.
I hear you, man. I hear you. You watching your kids compete?
Yeah, my daughter's a senior in high school. She just finished her volleyball season, so I'm through with sports now. She's getting ready to go to college, so it's been a good journey. But that's what happened when you get older. You watch your kids grow, and now you watch them compete.
Yeah, I was up early this morning watching my 6-year-old play soccer.
Oh, you have a 6-year-old?
I got a 6-year-old playing soccer today. He's gonna play a little. I'm getting after this interview. I'm going to watch him play hockey.
He's busy.
Boy, everything that he gets around, he's like, I want to play that too, Dad. Dad, I want to play that. I want to play it.
Yeah, I wanted to say I was on the podcast. What was that? Thursday, sorry. I was on the podcast Thursday, and they said you was coming on. And I was like, man, I have to come on if I got to come on just for 5 minutes, just to tell Lance, man, I enjoyed watching your career, what happened to you. Because I was telling him, Lance was a rookie when I was leaving Chicago. And I told him in the beginning, like, yeah, I know how the NFL works. Once they drafted Lance and I saw him play and I saw him putting that wood on people, I was like, yeah, so it's my turn. I'm gonna move on and I'm finna go. And just like you said, I always believed in the best player, whoever the best player get to play. Like I don't believe in just because you got veteran leadership and it's a rookie.
Right.
And I wanted to say, like, when you was there, I hope I always was like, hey man, do your best. That was like discouraging to you because that's just not the person I was. I was always,
not at all.
Man, I was all, man, go out there and do what you do. Go play hard. I remember. And then once I left, y'all went to the Super Bowl, and I was like, man, I want to. I was out there to play with Briggs.
Hey, I'll tell you guys a good story right here. It's me and Warwick, right? And this is exactly how this went down. So after the final cuts, were made, they brought the rookies up to the veteran locker room. And so I'm up at the veteran locker room, and Warwick come up and he was like, You gonna keep that ugly number on you? On your back? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, yeah. He's like, hey, yeah. You like that 55 opened up? You better go get that. Stop wearing that nasty 91.
Yeah. No, I remember training camp, and I remember the coach from Michigan, Moeller.
Yeah, Gary Moeller.
Because Moeller was like a hard-nosed coach, old school hard-nosed coach. Like get on you about like everything. Get your hands off your knees. Stand up. Get in a good position. He was just a coach that nitpick. But I mean, he tried to make you hard. And I remember I used to always be like, man, just go out there and play. Like this is about making plays and know what you're doing. Like learn your playbook. I remember when you first came, that was the thing they always used to get on you about. You don't like know where you're supposed to be because they had you moving at all different positions.
All the 3 different,
yeah. And I remember I used to say, man, don't worry about it. Just you could play. Like we obviously could see you could play.
Yeah.
Learn your plays. Learn your plays and keep playing with confidence and keep laying that wood. We'll be all right. I remember when you came, I was like, yeah, now he can hit. That's what I was.
That's the only thing I can do. I was when I came in, man, Warwick was coming off a 200 tackle season. You had Brian Urlacher. So, and they had this deal. They had, I forget who put it up, it was on the board, but on the board it had like Hall of Fame career, like a Pro Bowler, and it had, at the bottom it had possible starting as a special teamer.
Right.
So it was Brian's name was at the top, and then it had Warwick, and then it had like all these other names, and at the bottom it was like a starter on special teams, and that's where my name was. And I was like, and I sat back and I was like, the only thing I knew how to do, man, I'm just gonna play hard. I'm gonna shut up and I'm just gonna hit everything moving. I'm just gonna shut up and play.
Damn right.
Do whatever I can to make this team. I was just worried. I was worried because that's where the coach put it. Then that's what they think of me, and I need to try to make the team.
Yep. Right. Especially as a 3rd round pick coming in. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I just remember, man. I always wanted to, like, I never had a chance to ever talk to you, and like I used to watch you, even when I was playing on other teams. I was like, man, I love the way his career going. You was like the type of linebacker I love, one that lay that wood. That's when nobody would come across. That's when you can lay people out coming across the
middle. Just when you could ride, you can touch somebody.
That's why I was like, I love the way that's that type of linebacker I like, because anybody come across the middle, he lay them out, and I was like, man, I always wish I could play with him and like, but I was just happy for your career, man. I was like, I have to come on and just tell him, man, salute to your career.
I appreciate you, Warren. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man.
And happy belated birthday and surprise.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm well into these 40s now.
Yeah.
What's happening, fellas?
What's up, man?
Going on?
You finally there, Terrence?
Man, I'm outside.
You are?
Yeah, I'm outside.
We really didn't notice.
I couldn't do shit. Oh, you. Hey, Lance. Well, actually, there's a question for both of y'all. What was your biggest?
What was your what?
Say
that again.
What do you think was your biggest hit?
Your
biggest hit.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That's hard, huh?
There was a lot of them.
A lot of good
ones,
hard.
Man,
because we played in an era where especially if you ever played Sam, like you were taking on lead blocks every play. You're taking on at least seven lead blocks a game. So it's hard, man. It's hard to say.
I'll say probably the biggest hit I remember, and this was before Lance got here. I think you May was here. This May was your rookie year. I'm not sure. I think it was before you got here. We played Michael Vick in Atlanta. I don't think you was here yet, Lance.
No, I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there.
Yeah. We played Michael Vick in Atlanta, and I got a good shot on. He was scrambling on the sideline, and I almost knocked him to their bench. I hit him so hard that I hurt my own arm on the hit. That was like one of the biggest hits. That was like a hit just because I wanted to hit. I got to hit Michael Vick at that time. I could even catch him. But it's hard to remember big hits because, like Lance said, like you hitting every play, like
every play.
Like there was I'm sorry, Lance. I'm sorry.
There was a play we were playing against Green Bay, and I got cheap shotted. I think it was his number was 73. I believe it was 73, but he cheap shotted me from behind. Boom. And I hit the ground and I popped up and I was like, who hit me? You know, and I'm trying to find who hit me, and I forget which of my teammate time. It was like 73 hit you, right? So, this is what I try to tell my kids about this sport. Like, if you're gonna play the sport, this is the beauty of the sport. So I got hit on that play. The next play, you know, and I thank God that they ran the play that they did, because I was going anyway. I was gone, and so I shot the backside A on a play away with two backs in the backfield. So I was where I was supposed to be. But the guard that came off, I hit this guard so hard, this guard flew into the fullback, and the fullback took out the tailback. Right?
Oh wow.
My coach, when I got up, Bob Babbage was like, "Damn, Boogie, don't try to play." You know, but I was like, somebody had to pay for that cheap shot.
Right,
you know, and that's why I try to tell my kid, I'm like, listen, the beauty of the sport is what you make. You can take all your anger out on somebody else, and you're going to be celebrated for it.
Yep.
You can do all of that stuff. It don't have to be the same. You can get cheap shotted. You can get hit. You can get that. Like you could do all of this stuff in this sport and be celebrated. Ooh, I got to use some power, guys.
You a savage. Okay. You a savage, fans. Get out on anybody.
Yeah, man. But that's how that's how I really kind of learned, you know. Yeah. That's how you really kind of learn the sport. Because I wasn't I don't know about you, Ward, but I wasn't a hitter when I was a kid. Like, I was the smallest kid on the team for probably 2-3 years. And hitting was just one of those things where I'm telling you, I rode the bench my first year. But it was one of those things where there was a kid, the crazy thing, his last name was Rucker. And he's had his big old face mask, and he used to run the ball. And I was playing outside linebacker at the time, and he got an ISO my way, and it just ended up clearing up. But I closed my eyes and ran at him. Pow! I hit him. And when I opened my eyes, he fell back against the ground. And then I was like, wait a minute. You know, might have had something. And that's where I'm just like, all right, I'm just try this again. See if it works.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
Were you a hitter from day one?
Well, I always played linebacker like from day one. So when I was in Little League, my nickname was Radar, because they say it was like I had a radar to the ball. So like I played tight end probably one scrimmage when I was like in high school, and they ran like a tight end dump or a seam route, and the safety laid me out, and I was done after that. I was like, I'm only playing defense.
That was it.
Like, I learned the lesson after that. Like,
he said, no more.
Right. I learned a valuable lesson. I'd rather be the hammer than the nail.
I'd rather be the hammer
than the nail.
You're right.
I love it.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Lance. You guys remember this. As fans, some of the greatest hitting and tackling we've ever seen was that Arizona game when you all came back. You all had like almost 20 tackles apiece.
Yeah.
You hit, I forgot who the running back was, crushed him in the back, tackle for loss. Lack had that forced fumble. They got picked up for that was some of the best hitting I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I just want to jump in.
Yeah, so that game.
You go, Lance.
Oh, that was Terrence.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, just when I used to watch y'all, I used to always say, like, a lot of people say, like, when me and Lack and Rosie played, that was a great linebacker core. But when I used to watch y'all two, I was just like, man, those are two Pro Bowl caliber linebackers. Like, those are two linebackers that just look like Chicago linebackers. I always gave y'all respect. And whenever I went somewhere, I was like, man, Lance Briggs are some good linebackers. I'm telling you, I used to practice, and I seen this kid when he was a rookie, man. So, like, the way y'all played and the way y'all used to fly around the ball, it always used to make me proud. And I got a funny story. I want to say my second year in Washington, when I was a free agent, the Bears, Jerry Angelo actually contacted my agent to come back to Chicago.
Oh, what?
Yeah, for real. And at that time, that's when y'all had, I think he told me they wanted me to compete against at strong linebacker against Hillemeyer. Wow. They're like, we have Hillemeyer. Yeah, and I was like, nah, I don't want, nah. I was like, nah, I love Chicago, and I was going to play with him, but I didn't want to come back and be in that position. Like, nah, that era's past. Like, it's like, that's
you know what it is.
Right, and I know how the business works. Like, nah, I'm not finna come and just be like a camp and push another guy. So I wish I came back, but I always said, like, man, I wish I could have had just one season to play with Briggs and Urlacher. That would have been so fun.
Hey, man, could you imagine the tackling records that would have been? Oh, my God.
Plus,
I'm more thinking about that linebacker room.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Plus, all the jokes, the linebacker, our room used to be so fun. I always tell people, y'all just don't understand how funny Urlacher was, like his personality, how funny he was, and how cool and laid back he was. Like, people just don't understand how much fun we used to have in that room.
Guys, I am back.
When they brought
Hi, Terrence.
Yes, sir.
It's nice
What's
to see
happening? What's happening, Lance? Work. I feel much better now.
That's for you,
My
Lance.
internet is finally working. Lance, I wanted to give you the proper introduction, but I'm sure my boys
We did okay.
I'm sure they picked it up. But man, I'm so glad you can come on the pod, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. I seen a lot of my old teammates on here. Man, I knew had to be on.
Yeah.
Had to come on at some point. Man. Sorry it took so long.
It's all good, man. So man, I had a lot of stuff I wanted to ask you, but this damn internet killed me. But one of the questions I want to ask you, how do you deal with all this damn cold being a California guy?
He's not here. He's in Arizona.
Well, I'm in Arizona right now.
Oh, you are?
He leaves. That's how he deals with it.
So you
every
kind
time
of do the show and then go back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, shoot, when we lost the NFC Championship to the Packers, I was packed and gone within 2 days, and watching the playoffs in my backyard with shorts on, and it was one of those deals where where you crunch, but you sit back on your little seat and you're like, you know what, life's not bad. Yeah, life's not bad. We lost the Super Bowl. When we lost the Super Bowl, I already knew the consolation was going to be going to the Pro Bowl. So we lost Super Bowl. They flew us from Miami to San Francisco and San Francisco to Hawaii. So that was another one of those deals where it felt bad, like you were crushed about the Super Bowl. But in our minds, it was like, we'll be there again next year. We'll get there next year. Yeah. But on the way there, the consolation is let's go to Hawaii and celebrate.
Going to Hawaii, baby.
Cheers to that.
Not a horrible consolation prize.
Yes, indeed.
But isn't that crazy how two of our best linebackers ever are from warm weather states? They come here in the cold and just dominate.
I mean, I don't even know what to say to that.
So
Urlacher, New Mexico too, man.
Right?
You might have already touched on this, so I might be late.
Mm-hmm.
But talk about the difference between your relationship with Dick Duran and your relationship with Lance Briggs. Or did I miss that? I mean, not Lance Briggs, Lovie Smith.
Lovie Smith, you mean? Yeah. He kind of went over coaching, but not like that.
Yeah, he alluded to it. We weren't gonna put him on
the
spot.
I missed it.
Yeah.
Lovie. No, Lovie. No, I can talk to you about Lovie. No, it's good, man, because I learned a lot from him. And Lovie's number one. Lovie doesn't cuss. So but it doesn't mean he doesn't get that same point across. Lovie would if you're a weak-minded player, you'll never last with him. And to kind of explain, kind of my relationship with him, he would always bring up Derek Brooks. He would always bring up the great linebackers that played weak side linebacker in that scheme. And he would, after a game, let's say I had 8 tackles. Derek Brooks averaged 14. Derek Brooks averaged 12. And this kind of, he would say things like that. And I would come up and I would, and I'd say, I have a 12 tackle game or a 13 tackle game. And I was like, well, got a 13 tackle game, coach. Yeah, but Derek Brooks did it on average. It was always something. And I was like, okay. And so the year before I got my first Pro Bowl, he would point out all the Pro Bowlers on our team. He was like, Brian, Olin, all these guys, they're Pro Bowlers. You know, you don't get credit for first runner-up. So the next year, I get Pro Bowl. I get my first Pro Bowl, right? And so we're in the summertime. I was like, yeah, coach, I'm in that list now. I'm a Pro Bowler. He said, no. He said, you went to a Pro Bowl. He's like, you're not a Pro Bowler yet. Right? He's like, these other guys, they went to multiple Pro Bowls. They're Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for you to say.
Listen, hey, I was steaming. After that conversation. But I said, you know what? In my head, I was like, you're right. So let me go out again, because the following year, of course, me and him have that same conversation. And before I even opened my mouth, Lovey's already laughing. He was like, I know what you're going to say. He said, yes, Lance, you're a Pro Bowler. You know, yes, you are a Pro Bowler, you know, but it was one of those, you know, I always felt like everything it had to be earned. And I'm okay with that. Like for Lovey, it was like, you have to earn this. You didn't earn anything yet. And I'm not going to talk to you in a way that you've earned something if you ain't earned it. But when you have, I'm going to have your back for life, you know, and I'm going to tell everybody that you earned it. And so in that respect, I'm thankful for him not being easy and him not being like, you know, yeah, Lance, you're saying you're a Pro Bowler, or you're this or you're that.
Yeah, most definitely.
It seems like he was a real straight shooter.
Yeah. It sounded like he low-key chopped heads.
If you ever went to training camp, you could hear
you
him.
know,
I mean, he get on those guys.
He would. You know, I think for Lovey, I think I think the downfall for him was it's always going to be lack of offensive production. You know, Lovey's a loyal guy, you know, but he's also somebody who's like, listen, he'll tell you, you know, I tried to get all the best offensive coordinators. You know, this just wasn't the easiest place to get them to come in coach.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lot of quarterbacks. And we had a lot of issues. You know, Warwick was there before I was there. So I know you were there with Shoop and whoever was before Shoop, and I was there with a bunch of coordinators. You know, and so the thing for us, you know, at some point we had one of the top defenses and one of the top special teams. And to be honest, we had players on offense too that could play. So that at the end of the day, you needed that kind of that Trent Dilfer, Baltimore Ravens of 2000 approach, you know, to just manage, don't turn the ball over, you know, because between special teams, you're going to have either Devin Hester is going to get you a score or within scoring, or teams are going to kick away from us and give us field position, which we could play, or your defense is going to take the ball and score.
Yep.
So what do you need to do what do you need to do on offense? Run the ball.
Don't mess up.
Don't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Don't ride. And there's and I see it. And the crazy thing is, now that I cover the Bears now, I see the same thing happening now. You know, with the, you know, right now you have Khalil Mack, who he has a season-ending injury. You have all these guys that were part of a core of a good defense, and now they're aging. And you're going to have to start siphoning them out. So so now you got to decide who's going to stay, who doesn't, and it's sort of that rebuilding again.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because I actually had a question about that. What if I told you right now, after June 1st of 2022, you can trade Mack, Quinn, and Eddie Jackson. You can save almost $86 million over the next 3 years through 2024. What do you think about doing that? You think it's time for us to move on from these guys? You wouldn't trade Quinn?
I wouldn't trade Quinn.
Even I wouldn't with trade that Quinn coming up?
I think if you want to transition, the one player right now, the player that's playing the best on defense right now is Robert Quinn. And he's playing at a level I didn't see last year. Maybe he was hurt, but the way he's playing, he can production wise, he can keep your production high, and you can bring somebody in that can learn from him. Okay. Obviously, with the other guys, you get value or whatever. I know it's a business, but in my opinion, Robert Quinn should stay.
Okay.
Do you get rid of Eddie Jackson or Khalil Mack?
Both. I think he froze up.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a production-based business, and my man Eddie Jackson hasn't had a pick in 2 years. It's been a tough fall for him, and as much as I root for him and the rest of those guys, listen, there's a lot of guys that I rooted for next to me in my locker room.
Yeah.
But if you're not producing, they move you out. That's the way it happens.
The business.
For a long time
Yes.
too. Nathan Vasher came out. Nathan Vasher came out with 7, 8, 9 interceptions.
The interception.
And then 2 years later, they're moving him out. They're putting somebody else in there. They're putting Tim Jennings in there. That's just the way the game goes. And I love Nate. And I love Tim. But if you're not producing, then and it's not even necessarily when the upper echelon they decide you're going to move you out on the field. If you're not producing, I'm gonna go over to Peanut and be like, yo, what's up with your guy?
Yeah.
What's up with your guy? Because I know Peanut's gonna come up to me and say, hey, why aren't you making tackles? Why isn't Lack making tackles? Why isn't Hunter making tackles? What's going on?
Yeah.
We all hold ourselves to a specific standard.
It's about accountability.
In regards to Eddie or a lot of some of those other guys, man, you're the third highest paid safety in the game, man. You're supposed to be playing like that.
Yeah.
So Lance, that makes me ask you this real random arbitrary question. What are we now as the Chicago Bears? Like I can't put my finger on what we are.
We're about to be Justin Fields' team. That's what we're about to be.
We're Justin Fields.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
We are Justin Fields. Justin Fields, we are Roquan Smith.
Yep.
We are Justin Fields.
But are we still
Roquan Smith? At the end of that's your future. That's what you have to build around.
Yes, that's our future, but with the people
We
that
are
we
David
have in
Montgomery.
place, is that possible? The people we have in place up top, is that possible?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because the people that make the decisions have been making these decisions for a long time, and we've all been paying for it because of it. So, and none of us have any control over that. None of us have any control over that. Even the fact that we have Matt Nagy again this year, was really a shot in the dark. Shoot, Lovey got fired at 10-6.
Right.
Lovey got fired at 10-6, and Matt Nagy is still here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You might have Ryan Pace hiring his third NFL coach. Do you think Matt Nagy makes the season? And if he doesn't at the end of the offseason, who do you like for them really to start developing Justin Fields?
There's a lot of coordinators out there. I can't pinpoint one because the one that I really liked has been screwing up a little bit lately. I really like Greg Roman at Baltimore, and he's been screwing up a little bit the last few weeks coming into question.
Slow starts.
Because I love his. I think he had one of the best. Yeah, I think he had the best run scheme when he was at San Francisco that I had ever faced, and he gave us a lot of problems. And through the week, we had to decide: are we going to call this 2-back, 1-back, and because there's 2-back, 1-back rules, and how we're going to play it? And we tried doing certain things. And he really screwed with us, and they dashed us because of it. And I think for the Bears, you have to be able to run the ball. You need to be able to establish the run, and we have a great runner in Montgomery. But if he can do what he's done with Lamar Jackson. I'm just thinking about what he can also do with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Is he on the Bears short list for a head coach?
I don't know.
See,
I don't know. If he picks it up, I'm being shoot. If he keeps coming under fire over there.
Yeah. Like what I heard was that the organization was actually going to start looking for a head coach that had head coaching experience in the past. What do you think about a guy like Ryan Day from Ohio State?
You keep throwing his fucking.
I know,
name out there.
and I'm going to keep throwing it.
I think he's in a good place. I think he's in a good place. I think Ryan Day's in a good place at Ohio State. And the NFL, I don't think the NFL is for everyone. I don't think the NFL is for Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban's a legendary college coach. I just don't think the NFL right now for him. Maybe he was really younger. You know, when he was younger, he was with Bill Belichick. But when he went and coached for the Miami Dolphins, he realized he was not a good fit for the NFL.
Right.
You know, and coaches, and I don't know about Ryan Day. I think he's great for Ohio State. Like, he's great for Ohio State doesn't mean he's going to be great for the Bears.
True.
So we kick some names around all the time. Me personally, I would like to see
whatever coach comes in to Chicago. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Anybody that comes into Chicago, coach-wise. Oh, no, you go. That's what we're going to do. Go ahead, you go.
I think he's got a delay.
Yeah, delay. Oh, I was going to say, we kick some names around here with hotshot, coordinators and everything. Me personally, I would like to see Todd Bowles get another shot as the head coach and Jim Caldwell as the OC/quarterbacks coach. What do you think about that?
I like Jim Caldwell as OC. Bowles. I like Bowles.
Yeah.
Bowles attack. He'll attack you. He'll attack. My only issue with Bowles is I think Bowles can test in a high coach. I'm trying to think of the whole his whole experience in New York. Sometimes a step away from being a head coach will help you, especially being around another great head coach will help you become a better coach. Like, to me, Jeremy McDaniels, because he coached on Tech, he got that job from Denver, and it turned out to be a very bad job for him. He thought that his system was greater than the players. So, and that's not going to work. And that's one of those things. That's why he would be a horrible fit for Chicago. Every time you think your scheme is greater than the personnel, you're going to lose. And that's similar to what's happening right now for the Bears. Your scheme thinks your scheme is greater than the players, instead of knowing that you have a gift in Justin Fields, and you should be creating a playbook or an extended playbook that just outlines all his talents and things that he can do. Because if you did that, I'm telling you, I think Bears offensively could be nearly unstoppable if you were able to do those things and just take advantage of all the things he can do using his legs and his arm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So to answer your question, I like Todd Bowles. I don't know if he is right fit though.
Okay.
A lot of people were saying that Justin Fields wasn't ready. People are still saying that. What do you say?
I personally don't know if any of the rookie quarterbacks were ready. Why do you have to be ready? Number one, when you get thrown in, let's say you get thrown in your first game, you throw for 350 yards. Okay. Your next two, you're under 200 yards passing. You guys barely score, and now people are starting to question whether you should have played or not in the first place. The thing is if you're going to throw the quarterbacks in, you need to know that, listen, if you do well, they're going to love you. If you do bad, they're going to hate you. So just know that, and they're going to call for you to be traded and all this stuff like Tua Tagovailoa is going through in Miami. That's the pressure that comes with playing right now as a first round.
Yep.
So I was like, especially with the situation in Chicago, I'm like, listen, I don't think that Justin should play early or have to play until he has to play. There are things that happen in the NFL, and when you come from a school like Ohio State or Alabama or Clemson, you're already playing on a team that is superior to most of the other teams outside of those top guys that you always see. So you're now playing on an even playing field in the NFL. It's going to change for you. Those windows are not the windows you think you see, aren't the windows that are really there. That's all shade. Excuse my language. That's all shade right there. Good. So it's okay. But it's also, do I think that he's stepping into a system where the coach is going to take advantage of his skills? No, it hasn't shown that he's going to do that. It hasn't. Hold on a minute. later. It hasn't shown that he's going to do that. He took Trubisky. He made him drop back with 5-man protection. He took Nick Foles, made him drop back 5-man protection, and he did the same thing with Justin Fields, made him drop back 5-man protection. You know, that wasn't a situation that sounded like it was going to be successful for those guys.
Yeah.
So you were okay with them going to start Andy Dalton, who is like a slight upgrade from Mitch Trubisky? You were good with that?
I'll tell you what, Andy Dalton is one of the. You wish you would have Andy Dalton as a backup right now if you're in the NFL. You wish you would have him. But Andy's season, and one of the things that Andy does well is he doesn't make bad decisions. You know, he's a drop back guy. As long as there's good progression, if you watch him, even when he was at Cincinnati, he'll drop back. He'll do his first read, second read, go to his third. He's going to one of those right now. You know, now if there's a pick, it's because you're playing on one of that second and third read extremely well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can, Morgan. Jump on in, brother.
All right, I'm gonna ask a question before I go because I want Lance to have his time. But I wanted to know, now that you on TV and you broadcast, you're analyst, what's the hardest part about trying to describe? Because I always try to, when I come on a podcast, I always try to say it's football, life and rules and how the game go, and it's what the fans see and how they feel like the game should go. What's the hardest part of trying to explain to fans, like, stuff that's happening on the football, on the field, and like in practice and in meetings that you try to tell them, like, hey, let's say for Justin Fields, what's the hardest part of trying to explain to people when they like, we want to see Justin now? And as a player, you know, like, man, it's hard for rookies and they got to learn the playbook and they got to get adjusted to being in the NFL. Like, it's just easy to think. What's the hard, like, I know I probably answered the question, but what's the hardest part of like trying to explain to people, like, it's two different sides to football. Like, it's what the fans see and what the players see.
Yeah, good question. Ooh. I'm gonna start with Justin Fields. And for him, my best explanation for him is that in Chicago, specifically, because I've only played in Chicago and I understand Chicago fans really well. If you go out, I don't care what, if they love you, your first year, your second year, you've been there for 8 years, 10 years, you out there, you throw 5, 6 bad passes, you're going to get booed. That's just, Chicago not going for that. They're going, you know, and if you ended the game, there's a potential that you might get coming into the next game until you throw your first good pass.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this isn't, you know, and this might not be like Green Bay. You go to Green Bay, you throw some bad passes. People are like, "Hey, you're gonna be all right." You know, you're gonna be all right. Get them next week. Chicago is pretty cold, man. Where I forget which game it was, but the opening, I would just landed, and my buddy had text me. It was like, "Bears suck, hate them. Bears suck." Bears come back. I was like, "Well, they're not really down by that much." Bears come back. He was like, "Oh, I love the Bears," you know, and he was just excited later on. But that's a Bears fan for you. And so it's just like, you know, this kind of, you see something on game one that's not the consistency. You know, the game is about being consistent. You can go out there, you can have a 15 tackle game as a linebacker. Anybody can go out and do that. But can you do that over a span of 16, 17 games? Right. You know, that's where you start to realize this is the kind of player that this is, where he's learning how to maneuver through this game. And for that, I see Fields learning every game. You know, I see him learning even from a play standpoint. I seen Minka Fitzpatrick put him on his butt, man, just knock him on his butt on the sideline. The next time he ran out of bounds. Then the next time he ran, he slid. So I was like, okay, yeah, he learned fast, you know.
Yeah.
But for most people see the game from an offensive standpoint. So if you keep questioning me on what I'm trying to help you see, I would tell anybody, I would say, listen, if you really want to learn the game of football, learn defense. Learn defense and learn what the defensive players are doing, because offenses are only taking what the defense is giving you. And defensively, if you understand that, you should understand your mentality should be to defend every blade of grass on that field. You know, because when you don't, you're giving the offense, you're giving these points to this offense. You're giving it up. You know, and if you coach it, either you're coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. So I think that's, and it's hard to say because even my kids, like my boys, they see offense. So when they're seeing offense, I'm trying to teach them what the defense did in order to allow that to happen. So I guess I hope that's a thorough enough answer for you.
Good.
No, you good. I'm gonna get out of here. Give you your time. Give you the rest of the interview, man. It's making me smile just seeing you, man. I'm just starting to think back to them 90s and the early 2000s when 2000s when you came in as a rookie, man. So
I appreciate you, man. Thanks, Ward.
Yeah, it feels good to see you, man. Now you're on TV. Keep being blessed. Keep doing your thing, man. Tell Olin and tell AB, Shazam. Tell Shazam I said hi.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
See y'all.
All right,
All right, man.
All right, so.
My buddy Warwick.
That's great, man. Thanks, thank you guys, man, for bringing him on.
That's awesome, man. I was happy that AB brought him. You know, AB and Warwick, they do a podcast for the network on Thursdays.
Yep.
And well, he had said that. And it's called Bears Fans with a Brain. But he asked AB if he could come in here and pop up on you real quick.
Yeah.
So
great guy.
You definitely want to do that.
It is so funny the way that you were speaking about, you know, the way that the pros are. He's told me in the back 100 times exactly the same way you say it, man. So I was like, it's amazing that you guys just have that brotherhood and that you have that understanding with each other, that you know that this is a business and you don't let it affect friendships, man. I absolutely love that.
Gotta check your emotions at the door, man. You know, we there are things, and that's one of the things that you also that I realized too is when I would leave that locker room, how sensitive the world is.
Yeah.
You know, and where I'm in here, you know, I trip over some carpet and people start making fun of me, you know, and then I leave the locker room, I crack a little joke and people are like, Lance, you come on, be a little more sensitive for their feelings and this and that. And I'm like, oh, you know, I was just 30 minutes ago, I was being attacked for every insecurity that I had. And I laughed about it, you know, and it made me laugh about it, you know, and now I, you know, and so you have to be able to know when and where you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know who you're around. And also when you've been through the locker room for as long as you've been, it's also about learning who, you know, you might be a great person, but I don't think that you're a person that I could be around on a daily basis, you know, and it's because of your sensitivity levels, you know, I don't think that you could take being around me because I crack jokes. Jokes are cracked on me all day, you know, but one thing I want to do. I want to laugh.
Damn right.
You know, so it's, you know,
So Lance, I'm going to ask you this, and if you don't want to answer, just say, Terrence, get your ass out of here. But I'm going to ask you this anyway. Why did you want to leave Chicago so bad?
Out of here.
I kind of had that feeling, but I felt like I had to ask it anyway.
Let me hear the question. I didn't hear the question. I cut you off before the question.
I said, why did you want to leave Chicago so bad? In what year was that? 2000.
I think it was 07, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was 07.
When all the talk about the 49ers was happening. And I was like, oh, shit. Here we go.
I'm never playing another snap for Chicago. I think those were the words, if I remember correctly.
I was like, damn, they better not do Lance bad like that. This team will be fucked up. So why did
listen,
you,
guys, listen. this is a business at the end of the day. It's a business, you know, and that off season I had gone to the owners meeting. And at the owners meeting, I sat down. It was me and Jerry Angelo were going to sit down. So we sat down. And in this meeting, he explained to me why the Bears were not going to pay me. You know, he said, listen, he's like, we're not going to pay. He's like, we got you. We're going to keep you for one more year. And then that's it. Okay. So my deal was, I was like, well, if you don't want me to stay here, like if you don't want me, then trade me.
Yeah.
You know, he said, well, he said, nobody's going to trade for you. Okay. Now that's the next thing he said. He said, nobody's going to trade for you. He's like, so, you know, so what I did was, I left that meeting, you know, pissed off. I went
hold
to
my beer,
my
and
agent.
went and got it.
Yeah, my agent was right outside. This sucker ran. He jumped over some bushes and started talking to Dan Snyder for the Washington Redskins. And I'm telling you, within about, I'd say 12, maybe 13 minutes, we had a trade. So we called Jerry Angelo about 13 minutes after I left his meeting and said, hey, you said we couldn't find a trade. Well, we found a trade. Will you make the trade happen? You know, and now he backpedaled. I'm telling you, he was backpedaling like,
yeah.
He was bluffing. He didn't want to trade you.
He said, wait, what?
Right. And it was, you know, it sucked, but it was a situation, man. I knew it wasn't one of the things. I didn't want to actually leave the Bears, but if this is all that you wanted me for, this is all you want me for, then let me seek a trade. You know what I mean? Then let me seek a trade. If you don't have any long-term thoughts of me staying or being here as a Bear, then let me go or get some value out of me, because I'm young. I can play. You know, I'm coming off an all-pro year. Then let me go get some value for you.
Was your feelings hurt just a little bit? I know you said it's a business. You got to have tough skin, but just
no, my feelings were hurt. No, my feelings were hurt. Big time. My feelings were hurt. You know what I mean? Shooters. It's always hard it's a hard pill to swallow when you realize you're not wanted. Right. You know, nobody wants to not be wanted, especially after you feel like you bled and your blood, sweat, and tears.
And see, that's the thing. The reasoning behind not being wanted makes no sense. This is that player interaction versus the fan interaction. We see production, 120-something tackles every year. Nose to the ball, tackles for loss, forced fumbles, intercept. Yeah. Perfect, prototypical leader. Right or left, because you played both, linebacker.
Yeah.
And we're like, wait a minute, Lance going to the 49ers, all to hell, you say? No, he's not. But you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Like I don't understand why they think like that. Like, I mean, I was told years ago that you never truly ever get what you're worth unless you're like that guy.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Toms, the Paytons. You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the way, you know, that's the way, that's kind of the way it will. I think it's changed a little bit now. I think a lot of guys that can play well, I think they're getting paid, at least paid a lot more than what we were.
That's what I was
but
say.
You're right. Yeah. You get you'll get guys, you'll get a rookie cornerback back then. You'll get a rookie cornerback come in, make more money than Darrelle Revis. And he's the best corner in the league.
Yep.
You know, and so some of that stuff really didn't make a whole lot of sense. You know, you're throwing money at these young guys and they haven't proven anything.
You think Roquan's going to get 5 years, $100 million?
He should.
Yep.
He should. Absolutely. Because in this game, you know, for anybody that plays that position, you better be hoping that he does get that, because you have a precedent that's set. And if he's a guy that gets $100 million and you play as well as him, then guess what you're getting? You're getting $100 million and one. You know?
There you go.
So
let me ask you this. Now that we know that Mac is on the shelf for the rest of the year, and now Danny T, who should we look for in that linebacker? We seem a little depleted.
Ogletree. Hey, listen, you got to get Ogletree. I think they just picked up a linebacker. Roquan's going to have to pick up.
Yeah.
You know, but more so than all of that, you know, you got to be healthy up front. You got to be healthy up front for anybody that's in the second level so that they can flow. This defense is really predicated on the success of that off of that front defensive line.
Absolutely. 100%.
Fellas, I gotta go.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah, I'm late.
Yeah, sorry, man. Sorry that.
Sorry.
Get to that match. Get to that hockey match, man. Good to see you, Lance.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Thank you for coming on,
We'll
Lance.
be in touch, man.
Absolutely.
Take care.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Y'all be good.
Later.
I bet.
Well, at least I got to surprise him because that made my day, man. Great guy. Just like we thought. Terrence, man, we missed you.
Man, my fucking technical difficulties kill me, man. The perfect time for the internet to go out, right?
Right. If it had been a 1 o'clock show, it wouldn't have happened. We got to start doing it at 1.
Biggest guest we've ever had. You know what? You're right.
Damn right.
You're right.
Who you rocking with, AT&T or Comcast?
Comcast.
Oh, let me not say that because that's wrong. Let me sip my tea.
What happened with Comcast? But it happened.
JB.
Oh, I'm so pissed, man. And I don't have hotspot on my phone.
Oh, you don't? Oh.
No, I don't. But I'm gonna get it now.
Damn right.
It's definitely working.
I was so mad. I was so
man.
mad. I had an intro all lined up and everything, man.
Well, the beauty of it is we'll be able to speak with him again.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Because there's a lot of things we didn't get to. You know,
busy man.
We didn't get to dig into, you know, of course, the Super Bowl years, 8 out of 9 seasons, 100 tackles, I believe. Nobody has done that since Lance Briggs, you know. So there's a lot of Hall of Fame possibilities. Like, it's a lot of things that we needed to get into, not to mention just his view of the Bears from the analyst standpoint now.
Yeah.
You know, he has his player standpoint, but now he wears another hat. So just to get that information. So like I said, man, T, we'll talk with him again, chop it up real good.
Definitely. Did he get to did we ask him if he would be willing to come back?
Well, I was just about to ask him about coaching and stuff like that and try to segue into that, but he had to run. So
we'll get to it. I'll get to it.
Yeah, because CJ actually asked the question in the chat if he wanted to
get into coaching.
If he wanted to get into coaching, and I was like, that's a great question for Lance, but we'll have him back, guys.
We'll
Don't
get
worry.
him back.
He's a busy man.
We'll get him back, man. Chicago Clubhouse Podcast, where we think we know everything, but we don't know shit. But everybody wants to be on this podcast.
We know how to get guests.
We'll get Lance back.
That's about all we know is how to get guests, man. Great interview. Only other question I was going to ask is what his grade for the defense was, because I know he's a big grade guy.
Yeah,
I was going to ask him about what he thought about Sean Desai, the role he's done, and his grades for him. But
yeah,
we'll
have him back.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Most definitely.
I wanted to address a couple of the guys in the chat that we kind of glanced over because of the technical difficulties. Hey, AB, can you pull up the Keith Sperry when he talked about Michael Vick?
Yes, and that was the other question I really wanted to get out of him, but
yes, I thought that was a very
I just couldn't find the right time to put it in there. I was trying to get in, but Lance is very detailed in his answers. I thought he was going to be a little quicker.
We love it.
Which we absolutely love, but that means we have to kind of pick and choose what we ask. But great question there. Absolutely great question. I can't talk today either, man. Okay.
Man, I didn't even get to see who all is in the chat.
It's a couple people, but
Chris.
I do want to address Keith though, because look,
Scott, Harry.
Oh yeah.
Shawnee.
Oliver
Facebook
Chapman.
user, please go to StreamYard and register your name so we can see who you are. Shouts you out. But
I do want to address some of these questions because if they have questions, maybe Lance is not answering them, but we'll take a crack at it.
We could try.
I want to take the first shot at Keith's question. Keith, I would not compare Justin Fields to Michael Vick. They have two totally different skill sets, although both of them have rocket arms. I would, in my estimation, I kind of would think that he's more Colin Kaepernick, Randall Cunningham-ish, more so than he is Michael Vick. Michael Vick is more like Lamar Jackson.
But hold on then. Okay, so remember whenever he went to the Eagles, he had that great passing season there.
Right, one season, but
What
that was
about
kind of
that
later
kind of
in his life.
comparison, maybe? Yeah, yeah.
That was
Like,
later in his life. Like he couldn't run like he. I mean, he
yeah,
could still run,
yeah,
but he
but
wasn't. You know,
not like that.
Michael
Like,
Vick the experience. He wasn't that guy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's the Michael Vick I would try to compare Justin to. But I understand exactly what you're saying, man. And you know, that's our hope is that he's going to be more like a Russell Wilson. That's my hope. You know, and I wouldn't necessarily compare to him either, except the Philadelphia years.
Mhm.
But the second part of his question, how we stop Lamar Jackson in there on a Sunday,
Pressure his ass.
you got to pressure him. You got to keep him in the pocket. If he runs, he's running up the middle.
Up
He's
the
not
middle,
running
yep.
sideline. He's not running sideline, because if he does that, he's multidimensional and it's only going to cause problems. So you've got to lock the outside away and make him beat you in the middle of the field, because I don't think he can do it in the middle. That's my
Not running, passing, yes, but not running.
yes, yeah. Anything for you, T?
What's that?
I said anything for you?
Well, you have to pressure Lamar. You have to get pressure on him.
Yeah,
But
zero
from both
blitzing is
sides,
what
not
Scott
just
says.
one side.
Exactly, Scott.
Not
Exactly.
just one side. You got to come to him from both sides.
Yeah.
You know, but because you just come from one side, he will beat you with his feet. He will beat you
he will.
easy.
And
So,
like we had a massive conversation about this on Thursday night, and it was basically me asking, should they be running man or should they be running zone? Because man worked with the Dolphins, zero blitzing, stuff like that. That stuff worked. But where I was concerned about that is that I don't know if our secondary
we
is actually
can't
good
play
enough to
man.
run man all the time. So I would
No,
rather run.
we can't do that.
I wanted to run, you know, just zone, have the safeties back the whole game. Don't let him beat you deep. Make him do everything in front of you, isolate him, and you can beat him that way. That's my take. But a lot of people have been having a lot of success with man. So that's the question. So
The
we
Bears
kind of came to the even.
The Bears don't have the personnel for that.
Well, now remember, guys, we're going to struggle a bit on the pressure side because without Mac,
yeah,
now most of the pressure is going to come from Quinn. We have to see what Goldman's going to give us. We have to see what Nichols is going to give us. Travis Gibson.
You forgot one.
Those guys.
Danny T is here too, but
those
the
guys
great
up
Chicago
front make it
Ninja
easier
we
for
have.
the guys in the back.
Yeah. And we have the great Chicago Ninja now. We've got Cassius Marsh. He's going to start roundhouse kicking people in the head again.
Hopefully not getting flags for looking at motherfuckers.
Right? My God, it drives me nuts. But yeah.
So what do you feel though, guys?
Zone.
But what do you feel though with Mac being out? Do you feel now this is a chance for Mario Edwards to get his head out his ass and play some football?
Has to. Him, Gibson, Marsh. It's just going to be linebacker by committee on that end. That's exactly what it's going to be the rest of the year.
Like Ogletree's going to be in anyway because he's going to be forced to cover and tackle with Lamar. Probably more of a spy now that Danny Trevathan is out.
Yeah, so he's in the middle now for the rest of the season. He's not going anywhere. I mean, barring another injury. You could bring in Christian Jones. You could have him play the middle. You could put Ogletree on the edge. You can do that kind of stuff because Christian Jones has played in the NFL long enough. He knows how to play the middle. He could do a decent job, but
aren't you kind of worried about? Are you worried about him more tackling or more in coverage against Mark Andrews and the other tight ends?
I'm worried about coverage.
Coverage,
110% coverage because
definitely coverage.
I mean, the tackling aspect for Alec Ogletree, I'm not as concerned with. He is a run-stopping linebacker, although there have been times where I've seen him get beat. I've seen him get run over this year. He's your best bet there. Or, I mean, Christian Jones can tackle. But the problem is coverage. The coverage is why I'm saying that you're going to have to put that middle linebacker in, you know, essentially a position where he's spying. And Roquan has to do the actual coverage where he's going to be draping all the tight ends. That's what I'm seeing now because you can't do it the opposite. You have to let Roquan cover these great tight ends. That's why he wants $100 million. That's the money he's going to try to earn this weekend.
Wait a minute, guys.
And the rest of the year.
Wait a minute. I know this Baltimore dude that really probably has something really burning to say.
I bet.
And we can roast his ass too if we need to. But I don't
We
know
love
if
him,
he came
though.
on in the beginning of the show, but let's bring him in now. The other part of the All-Star team that I did not get to introduce today, but I'm gonna do it now. Our buddy Cal.
Yeah, our buddy Cal. I dropped a little teaser for Cal earlier today with him.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey Cal, we can't see you, man.
Good.
We can
It's
see
better
your
for everybody.
Christmas
Hold
tree.
up. Hold up.
Cal, it is not Christmas, Cal.
Listen,
It's
today is my
Thanksgiving.
Christmas, guys. I told T last night, today's my Christmas without Lance Briggs. Like, I was up all night. But let me start with this if I can, because I didn't hear, and maybe it was in the chat, we were talking about hits, and that was a great segment. But the Megatron hit, when he lit up Megatron, but because they threw the flag, right? It shouldn't have been a flag. Pick that flag up. Like, that was the hit for me that kind of I would say
He didn't go helmet to
encapsulates
helmet
Lance.
on that. He just hit him so damn hard. He cracked him so hard that the referee had to react to it.
Yep.
That's not right.
100%. That's what the league is. It is reactionary anymore. I mean, the way that the refs are, yes, they're human. They're going to make mistakes. But it seems like their egos get in the way of the game nowadays. And it's just bringing football down. I'm tired of hearing about it. I am.
Well, Alan, the most impressive thing for me, or Alan, AB, was like how he handled himself on the podium afterwards. Because like he could have said whatever he said, right? It shouldn't have been a flag. He owned it. That's who the guy is. Like, we are so lucky to have that guy be a part of, like a stepson, like your boy, part of that city, man. It's just, it's crazy.
Damn right.
No doubt.
So, Cal, did you steal that tree from Macy's, man?
Bro, my mom leaves this tree up all year long. It's crazy.
It right out of the damn store.
It's crazy. Let me back this thing.
And just walked it out.
Hey, I
mean,
in the back of the truck.
Looks beautiful, man. You didn't do that shit.
Oh, I was gonna say,
I've been eating crabs while y'all been talking. I've been
crab in there.
Yeah, man. I was gonna ask you, is that what the Old Bay is for?
Yes, sir. Conrad's Crabs up the street hooked me up. I was like, look, we got a big show today. I'm going to talk to my guys. They're like, take some crabs.
That's
what
you said.
Yep. Yep. I got a whole spread. I got burger cookies.
Crab from here.
What's that?
I said, how am I supposed to get some crab from here, Cal?
I told you, Cal. I told you.
You knew I'm going to be the one to ask, right?
I know. He did. He said, don't tell AB about the crabs
don't tell
because.
AB about anything. Because if
right?
you tell me, I'm going to be asking, where's mine?
I'll give you all a tutorial down the line. It starts like this, right? And it ends up, and you go to this, and then you segment to this. And if you want a crab cake, it goes to this. Look. Crab cakes and football. It's what we do, right? Wedding crashers.
It's for you to Venmo the crab to me.
No, man.
So
T,
I love it, man.
T, I'm on that Beverly Review as well. I got it spread out on the Beverly Review. T. Scott Fredericks, if you remember our guy.
Yeah,
man.
So your guy, Lamar Jackson. How do you think we stop him?
You don't.
I do.
Unfortunately,
but Dolphins just did.
Because you don't want us to win. So
I just watched the Dolphins do it.
Let's look at the numbers for a second, if I can. And JB, this is kind of your world. And you guys were talking about, it's a great question to Lance. Like, when's an appropriate time? And if you remember Flacco, right? And my Baltimore O probably just came out. Joe started as a rookie. They went to the AFC Championship against Pittsburgh. They lost. But when we made the call from Joe to Lamar, that was in 18, right? And Lamar started 7 games. What was his record, JB? What do you think?
6-2.
Close, very close.
I was gonna say 5-3, but
6-1.
6-1. I'm about to say I knew it was 1 or 2. Right, because it's lost came in the playoffs. It's second lost came in the playoffs. That's what it was.
Yep, 6-1. So that's intriguing. I just don't think, and that's okay. Like we talked about last week. But
I'm gonna have to ask you something on that, Cal, because
you
see that a lot in the NFL, to where whenever there's a new trend that comes in, nobody knows how to play against it. Why do we talk about what he did after that? Because his next year, his growth is really what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, but he's a worker. And the intriguing thing for us was he was a late draft pick. right?
Yeah.
And same thing. He said all the right things on draft night. He wasn't a Debbie Downer about it. He said the right things, and he got in the lab. He's like, I'm just going to go work. I'd have to look back at his when whoever got him on the sideline or in the with the mic draft night, but he said all the right things, and we knew right there he was going to be the guy for us. And it was like, man, this is our guy.
I think it was Bill Polian said that he wasn't a QB, and that
he had been saying that all draft that he needed to focus on being a wide receiver,
like dogging him, saying that he needed to play wideout. And you don't hear about Bill Polian anymore. And
we haven't seen him since.
Right.
You haven't seen him since because he shamed his ass. Like
right.
But he did it the right way, Cal. Just like you said, he did it on the field. He let his play do the talking. You know, he never got too low about it. I like the kid. I do. I like him coming out of college. But you can stop him.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see tomorrow night. Again, I said South Beach flu last week. Obviously, Lamar wasn't part of that. I don't think any of those guys were part of it. I just think Miami's a different city. But what really intrigues me that my friends and I talk about all the time, and I think some of them are maybe in the chat, is like Baltimore and Chicago. It's probably why I live there. Are very similar cities, right? Blue collar people, hard workers. But look at our linebackers: Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Peter Boulware, Bart Scott, Jared Johnson. Like it's the same kind of like core. Right. So that's why I think there's a lot of similarities. And then Harbaugh, we talked about it last week. He's just a worker, special teams guy. We're very similar to Pittsburgh, I think, in that philosophy of we're going to keep a guy around. We're not trying to run somebody out of town. We kept John around. He's not going anywhere. I think he has good job security. And that's it. I think we sleep better at night because of that. And obviously in Chicago, we've been like, yo, let's get our guy. Let's move on. Right. Yeah. So once you can do that.
The only problem here is that our front office isn't as good as those guys, as
the
Baltimore's, as the Pittsburgh teams. That's been our problem, Cal. Yep. It has. And I think all of us except Terrence I think we're all picking the Ravens in this game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not picking the Ravens.
We know you don't ever.
Good for you.
I'm never picking against the Bears.
So
it'll be a tough game.
Wait, don't say never because you've picked against the Bears before.
I think you did once. If I remember right.
When?
I think you did against Tampa.
I was going to say, what, didn't he do it against Cleveland?
No. He called me a hater.
Oh, he called you a hater.
I picked Cleveland.
I don't remember ever.
Yeah, I think he did when it was Tampa.
Maybe
if
Tampa.
I remember.
Maybe.
Yeah, because we talked with
Warren I think I did. I did, but I'm not
pretty sure you did.
I'm not today. I'm definitely not picking against the Bears today.
So speaking of Tampa real quick, so we talk about this as a copycat league. Ward talked about it. Lance talked about it. So right now, when you have these elusive, strong-armed, mobile quarterbacks, they're popping up. They're becoming more prevalent, right? Now that we've got one, we also have to take a little bit of what Brian Dable's doing. We have to take a little bit of what my man in San Diego was doing with Justin Herbert. We have to take a little bit of what Greg Roman is doing with Lamar. And we have to piece together and work towards getting Justin because Justin has a little bit of all those players, right? But right now, we just need Justin to focus on the small things, the fundamental things, the incremental growth that allows him to be a quarterback, similar to what Lamar did. Because remember, Lamar set the world on fire, 6-2 his rookie campaign. Then next year he came back, bam, MVP.
Yeah.
So Cal, do you think that trajectory is available for Justin?
Listen, Justin's going to be an MVP. I'll put it out there right now. He's going to be an MVP, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to win a Super Bowl with him. I truly do. We talked about the last time you guys were there, and gosh, who was our quarterback?
Lex Grossman.
Grossman, right? And it's terrible I don't even know his name like that. Yeah. And that was kind of similar to Trent, right? Like Trent Dilfer making the Super Bowl that year. That defense probably carried that squad a little bit, right? I mean, not a little bit, a lot. Special teams, Devin, right? Cold weather. What's the DMV today is actually, I think, colder than y'all. What's the weather tomorrow? I think it's clear. That's your only shot, in my opinion. Chilly, that's fine. But if it's wet, Lamar slows a little bit, and that helps you. But I think you're clear tomorrow. But I will tell you, to Alan, we said it from the jump. It's good K-weather football today in the Chicagoland area.
Chance of rain.
Yep, there is a chance.
Tomorrow's rain?
Yep.
So, I mean, but that's an easy fix. You already know what they're going to do because of what happened in Miami with that dampness. Lamar, they're going to have longer cleats. So that's going to take care of some of the slippage problem. I'm concerned now because we have too many of our starting players out, hurt, or just not being productive. To me, that's why I picked 34-27 because that's why Lamar can actually load up. Last time he threw 5 touchdowns, he said pretty good for a running back, right? So,
hey, the over might be the play, right? That might be the play. If you're gonna waste your money, then we can all sit back and say, hey, at least we're on the over. Whatever the score is, right? And we can all kind of be. It is what it is. I like that. I like that, JB. I might take that over.
I believe so because it just
Yes, you know what? Sorry, please.
No, but I was just saying, just like how we constantly say, had we had Tommy Harris, we would have won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Had we given the ball one more time to Thomas Jones, we win the Super Bowl. Had we given the ball to Jordan Howard, we don't see the double joint never happens. So one player can make a difference. We're talking about 2 players for sure out, one kind of iffy and another one still hurt. Like that's gonna
yes. The other reason I really like it is because Baltimore was held to what last week? Nothing, 3 points. I don't even know.
10.
Right.
10.
That's why you like it because for me it's the Ravens and the over.
1 yards and he rushed for like
36.
Wasn't a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
So you can isolate him and shut him down, but do we have the right personnel for that?
You just got to hang around. You got to hang around.
Yeah.
To me, this thing is either going to be over at halftime or it's going to be tight down the stretch.
This is Justin versus Lamar.
Showtime, baby.
100%.
It's going to be showtime. There's too much drip on. It's too much drip on the field, right? It's drip everywhere with those guys.
You're right.
It's going to be fun.
There was too much of a dynamic quarterback on our side, dynamic on their side. The defenses are both kind of reeling. They're all injured. They're hurt. It's going to be about the quarterbacks this game. It is.
Absolutely.
And can Justin take that next step? I said on Thursday, the Ravens are, I think, the 4th worst passing defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take advantage of that. You've got to let Justin cook. Let him throw the ball early. Play action. Run the ball. You've got Montgomery. You got Herbert. Use them. Keep Lamar off the field. That's what I think they're hopefully going to do. We'll just have to see how it goes.
My X factor as a Baltimore guy is Mark Andrews. That's my X factor. He gets open, right? He's a load. He's in the middle of the field. He scores touchdowns. If you have a 3rd and long, you have Hollywood on the outside, but you obviously have him over the middle. He's the guy for me. I think that's going to be a big time problem for you guys.
We actually just had a fan who chimed in saying that Lamar was downgraded to questionable just a few minutes ago. I'll have to go update my injury report. Let me see here real quick. He is on there. It doesn't say questionable on here yet, and I'm on the Chicago Bears website of injuries. So we'll see.
I'll shoot a note today. I got some guys who probably know something somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly don't see him not playing.
But I mean, questionable can be game time too. So I'm not really.
He's just sick. Like he's sick, but it's not COVID sick. So I would say that he's definitely going to be playing. I don't think you keep him out. But just like I said,
it's too important of a week for them.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's interesting. 4 weeks ago, Cincinnati was at the top of that division, and now I think they're in last. If you look at it, Cleveland is really, but that division is hard. Matt Canada, Pittsburgh, first year, they got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
So I still like Baltimore to win the division, but that loss hurt us last week. It doesn't make things easier.
No,
it doesn't. But remember, they're 6-3. They're not 6-4.
Right.
So they had their bye. They still can get a leg up. Losing won't really crush them. Getting that 7-3 record will put them up a full game, and then a game and a half. Because remember, you had some out of divisional games in the NFC. So Baltimore will still be in a really good place. The issue now is for the Bears faithful that figure we still have a chance to make the playoffs at 10-7, at the very worst, maybe 9-8. We definitely need this game. This is a game the Bears kind of have to win.
Yeah. They absolutely have to win it. And I mean, it's on both sides, because you've got Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh is actually for real. I think they don't have to worry about them. the Browns, they're probably getting Hunt back this week. They're going to have Chubb playing. Are they going to get right? They
scare me the most.
I mean,
they scare me the most.
They have a lot of quarterback issues. Right now, Baker Mayfield is playing with a broken non-shoulder.
Right.
Like, that's a massive thing. He's not making big time plays down the field. They're going to have to rely on the run game a lot. Now, Cincinnati is kind of a dark horse. That's the one where I'm it could go either way. The way Joe Burrow plays sometimes, I like to think that they're going to take that step. Then there's times where I look at Joe Burrow, like when he played the Bears, for example, had a horrible game. He has those up and down games. Which Joe Burrow are you going to get?
Right.
If they get the good Joe Burrow, they are the only thing standing in the Ravens' way of winning that division. That's just my opinion on it.
What do you guys think about the AFC in general? Like, because when I think about growing up as an AFC kid, I thought about the NFC a lot, but it was always like the Cowboys or whoever was on Fox, right? But now you look at the Bills, you look at the Patriots, obviously. Like, what do you think about the AFC, like conference to conference? Who's stronger?
The AFC conference to conference?
I mean, AFC to NFC. Like, if you stack them up, who's deeper, who's stronger?
I mean, the NFC
basically want a top 5, right?
Deeper.
Say it again, AB.
I said you basically want like a top 5.
I just want a blank answer of like who are you taking if you had to have more NFC teams or AFC teams? Who's a stronger conference in your opinion?
I would, if I had to pick one right now, oh man, I would have to say, based off of experience, I would still take the AFC, but it's not by as much as you think. It's not.
I'll tell you this though, Baltimore has the second toughest remaining schedule left. And that, if you think about, like, that's why this game is so important. Like, we got to knock it out. And then I think it's the second. I have to look that up. But I know that they still have stuff ahead of them that's going to be challenging. This is obviously not a layup game, but I think we circle it like we have to have it. If we don't, then we're in trouble.
But see, here's my take. If you basically look at, like AB said, like the top 5, I'm going to look at Arizona, Los Angeles, Dallas, Green Bay, Tampa. I'm going to look at all 5 of those before I even get to an AFC team.
Yep. Arizona's filthy.
All of those are front runners, right? We're aware of that.
Correct.
But then when you do get to the AFC, I mean, without Derrick Henry, are we really believing in the Titans? I'm not.
They believe in themselves right now, and they're still going out there and winning. They beat a Rams team. You were just talking about the NFC, right? They went out and whooped up on a Rams team without Derrick Henry.
They did. And like I said, the sun shines on the dog's ass some days.
Yeah, so that's exactly why I would rather have the AFC, because I think on one-on-one matchups, the AFC has more experience in these big games, outside of Tampa and maybe
Green Bay. Yes.
So outside of them, though, what have all those other teams done in the postseason that would make you think that they're, really actual contenders? Because Arizona didn't even make the playoffs last year. They aren't playoff experienced. Look at Dallas. They aren't playoff experienced. I look at Buffalo. I look at, I'm looking at the Ravens. Those teams, we're not even talking about Kansas City and the Patriots.
That's what we should be talking about.
So, Cal, you ready to talk about some high school sport?
No, man, let's don't cut us off like that, man.
I'm cutting it off.
That's the point. That's the man.
Don't do that, man.
Cutting it off, man.
Yeah, man. Like,
we're going entirely too long.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I'll get y'all out of here. I'll just say this. We talked about it from the jump. Like, 8A, Loyola and Marist both going today. St. Rita's going in 7A. The K's are going. We had a big win last night. We talked about it in the opening on an upset with the guys down south. It's the greatest day of the year for me from a high school perspective, because we have the most games left and there's no weak teams left at all. And I'll tell you this, T, we talked a little bit this week. Our guys, our fan base, they're in, man, and they're going to hook me up today with some nuggets, because I'm obviously on the East Coast. I'll just some quick shout-outs for me if I can real quick, and then I'll let y'all close it out. Trent Nixon, this kid's a Rita graduate, I believe. I put a video up on my Instagram page. He's so talented, man. And all these schools have, like, photographers on campus. Dina Collins is a mom of a kid over at Loyola. The talent is unbelievable. But I want to just give we'll talk we'll talk all-state teams on Tuesday. We'll talk basketball, top 25. O'Brien came out. Glenbard West, we talked about them. They're up top for him, which is really interesting because we talked about it. That gym is going to be something. Quick shout out. I want to give SIU and Mike Mullen's son. They had a big win over Colorado State, wherever they are, which was an upset. And that's that Wolves tree as well, with Mike's son, who was at Loyola for Porter Moser. So a lot going on, man. It's the best time of year for me. It's my favorite time of the year. And T, if I can quick shout out, and then I'll get out of your hair real quick.
Hey, do your thing, man.
Listen, man. I went to Maryland LIU first round soccer game on whatever night that was, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Soccer, Briggs was talking about it. It's the craziest game because you can press for 89 minutes, and then you can lose in the 90th minute. Yeah. And Maryland, to me, is the most talented team in the country. They lost. The kid in goal is tremendous, Nick. The kid in the back, Chris Rindorf. What's the most impressive thing to me is how they lost and they just walked off the field, I can't talk. Head held high. They're Maryland-made kids. I just think the world of them. So check that out. Quickly, my guy, Will Dunda, Quaker Valley, up the corridor from us here. They got a state championship. My guy, Gabe Kane, on the Eastern Shore, where I'm from. Salisbury's going today for football, yada, yada, yada. But the chat, man, thank you guys for not making fun of me for 2 weeks in a row. There's plenty to make fun of. My guys will be in. I told them it's a Bears podcast. Be respectful. These are our guys. But it should grow, man. But look for that state championship. That all-state list on Tuesday night. We talked about some of the kids. We got commitments. Caleb Brown is going to see the kid we talked about, Jimmy Rodler, on the other side. He's committed Big Ten team. Won't say anything about it. James Kreutz, yada, yada, the wheel goes on. So we're underway in 7 minutes. Loyola, 1 o'clock kickoff. Rita's at 6. I think Alan, the K's are at 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Let me see where they are. Crete Moniz at 1. Fenwick's at 1. Maine South is at 1. Maris at 1. It's a full day, man.
We had a question here. Mitchell, Q wanted to know. I just want to know, a Christmas tree like that, are the lights up on the outside of Cal's house too? Is it the inside or is it the outside?
Guys, did you see my background last week? I had to go from one. You do? Okay.
Yeah, because it's not Christmas.
Gosh, man, it's Christmas for me today. It's Christmas for me and these youngsters today, man. I'm gonna watch them for the rest of the day. I can't wait.
Awesome.
All right, y'all. I'll get out of your hair. Unless you have anything else, T.
You good. You good.
Hey, T, make sure, if you can we bless that 40% coupon? Because I think we have 1 day left today for our crew. How do we do that?
Yeah. I will put it on the chat. I don't have it loaded up here, but I will put it on the chat as soon as we get off.
My man.
Sounds good. All right, now, Cal.
All right, y'all. Be good. I'll see y'all Tuesday night.
Later,
all right,
bud.
Cal. Yep. So y'all want to get to some shout outs and then we done?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You want to go first, JB?
Hey, just similar shout outs as always to all my people that's watching. Moms, SB. I saw Sonny checking in. I saw CJ checking in. Our boy Akeem Hunter checked in as Facebook user. Akeem, we've been looking for you, man. Go on in and go through the process. Log on so we can give you the proper credit, man. We'd love to hear from you. Akeem used to play for Northwestern.
Oh, okay.
Product from Leo. Good guy. Real knowledgeable. And then, hey, how awesome was it to have Lance Briggs and Warwick Hogan on the screen at the same time?
That was great.
Man, that was like some video game.
That was a kid in a candy store, man. I just wanted to sit back and let them two go at it, man.
Yes,
it was watching the magic.
Yeah. Wonderful, and it was very, 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 very gracious of Lance. He's a very busy man outside of his job. As you see, he's got his son, multiple sports. Real class act right there. So thank you, Lance, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks to the All-Star team. You guys make it worth it while. It's Saturday, and I'm ready to go. I got up for you all. Let's get it.
Damn right. So for me, it's a lot of the same, guys. It's these fans we had in here today were crazy good. They were all over the place. We had early my buddy Keith, Shawnee, Scott Hopkins, my buddy Harry, CJ's in there holding it down for us. Kristen was in there today. That Sweat Sexton, or however you say it.
Sweaty Xenon?
Yeah, Sweaty Xenon, whatever it is. Yeah. Oliver Chapman running in here saying awesome show. Guys, we couldn't do this without you. We appreciate you a lot. Thanks for coming in, spending some time on a Saturday with us. And to Lance and Warwick, my God, thank you both for coming in. It means the world to me, honestly. So that's it for me, T. It's on you.
All right. Well, first of all, I do want to apologize for these technical difficulties. Comcast, fuck y'all.
Shout out to Comcast.
Yeah, it put me in a really bad mood. I missed a lot of the chat. I missed a lot of what Lance had to say. I missed the opportunity for a lot of questions. But on the bright side, we get to have Lance back at some point. I'm almost positive he'll come back. So shout out to Lance. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Everybody that said something. Everybody that didn't say anything. You are officially a lurker. But we appreciate you. Anyway, I see my boy Q came in. Yo, Q! If y'all
that's 3 bears we had on today.
We had 3 bears on. 1 in the chat, 2 on here. So that's a good day.
Awesome. It's like we in the jungle. Get it, bears. Get it. Sorry, that was
the forest, not the jungle. Wouldn't that be more the forest?
Bears do be in the forest, right? Did I say forest or jungle?
You said jungle.
Jungle.
Welcome to the jungle.
Bears don't be in the jungle.
Not really. I mean,
only on Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna say on Disney.
Anyway,
Beluga.
Ooh, we know that's AB's favorite station too. Disney and Lifetime.
Oh hell no!
But, by the way, that Yo Q, that was JB's reference to Juice. If you all didn't get that,
you got it. He said, "Yo."
So yeah, everybody in the chat who did not say anything, you're a lurker, but we appreciate y'all anyway. All-Star team, JB, AB. Thank you, especially today. Especially today. Picking up because fuck Comcast and everything like that. Y'all had to pick it up and you did. So I know I can trust you guys.
Absolutely.
So that is about it for my individual shout outs. I still got to shout out Leg Pod, LEC, League of Extraordinary Chicagoans. He is gonna start well, he already has started his show called The Players Pit.
Yeah, he started Wednesday.
Yeah, it's called The Players Pit. And you can catch that on Facebook. It's also going to be on Twitch, I believe.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Moores. Raise your standards. I'm raising mine. I don't know if you can see that can. That's a red can. That's the porter.
I had a
They
Gatorade.
also have a gold can, which is the IPA, and then they have a black can, which is the Session Ale. All of them are phenomenal, but this one is 8.3 ABV. The other two I think are like 5.0. So if you want to get fucked up, you get this porter. Get this porter. And you get fucked up.
One
like me.
Like Terrence. Get drunk like Terrence.
Always like me. Oh, my buddy Cal. I gotta shout out my buddy Cal, our buddy Cal.
Yeah, our guy.
Cal. So glad that you're part of the All-Star team now, man. And shit, we just gonna keep bringing the people this fire-ass podcast every Tuesday and some Saturdays. But we might slow up on the Saturdays because the Saturdays evidently are still slow, but we had some energy today. Well, my guys did.
We did.
I didn't have much energy because I was too busy being pissed off. Comcast, like I said before, fuck y'all. And I meant that. I put emphasis on that F when I said fuck. Anyway, Tuesday, Mark Giangreco, right?
Yep.
He's
Mark
supposed to.
Giangreco used to be the sports anchor at what was
ABC 7.
ABC 7.
ABC 7. Okay. But yeah, great sports mind. Go ahead, AB.
No, yeah, great guy. Actually, I messaged him again. He said he was cool the other day, but haven't heard back from him yet. But great guy. You know, if you're from Chicago, you know who Mark Giangreco is. He is unfiltered here. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited for that one. I really am. He's got some opinions, man.
I'm excited too. He got a lot of soul too. I heard him talking about music. He was talking about
he thinks Bruno Mars is he thinks Bruno Mars is the greatest singer of all time. Literally
of all time.
He thinks Bruno Mars is the king.
He's definitely the most diverse of all time. He can jump over here. He can jump over here. He can cross over here. He can sing 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever you want him to sing. He can do it. He can dance like Michael Jackson. He can dance like whatever. Yeah, that dude is cold, man.
Yeah,
I rock with Bruno, man.
You can definitely talk sports with him. You can talk music. He loves cars. He's a big car guy too. He's a great talk to, man. You think Fat Mike is like uncanny? You wait till you see Mark Giangreco uncensored. He's much better. Probably.
He's a fun guy. He doesn't say the same kind of shit though, right?
I mean, he doesn't get as like derogatory as Mike, but he does not have a filter either. Absolutely not.
Well, that's okay because I don't really have that much of a filter either. I don't give a shit.
Shocker. None of us do. That's why we're here.
But I think I've said enough. You know, Saturdays I hate to go too long.
Yeah.
We've gone 2 hours, so I'm done talking.
Yep.
Anything y'all want to say before we out?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, then I'll say it for my man, the stat man. JB knows every single stat from the 80s and 90s. Basketball and football. My man AB, X Factor. I am T Nick, point guard, quarterback. And I'm not going to say that last part. Oh, and I can't forget my buddy Cal. Cal is on prep. Okay, so now we out.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with a Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything